In the early morning fog and gentle rolling hills of Mansfield, Ontario, lives farmer Lance Matthews. By accident, Matthews came up with $1 million idea in 1997 after suffering the misfortune of falling off the roof of his century-old barn.
I was just finishing this repair right here, and really simple, and I was almost at the end of the job and took my mind off the job. And so I went zipping off there about 2 stories, and I landed on my feet and broke my heel really quite badly. 1 broken bone in your foot, and you can't walk for 8 weeks. All of a sudden, you can't do anything.
Desperate to free his hands, literally, of the crutches in his life, Lance came up with a solution.
With a couple of pieces of wood and a couple of nails. And that was the genesis of it. It took like 20 minutes, because the big thing is to make the decision that I'm not using the crutches, I'm doing something else, and there's nothing else. You can't buy anything else. I mean, stick is here, shelf is here, strut is here. This actually works like a little spring, and this little tiny foot here actually was articulating. Like totally simple, you're just holding up like Captain Hook, you know, really simple. But you're getting around out on rough ground, out in the dirt and everything.
And getting around he did, walking hands-free, surprising his orthopedic specialist and other patients with his invention.
I go cruising in, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm comfortable. The orthopedic technologist comes up and says, holy smokes, what is that? Where'd you get that? You've got to develop that.
With encouragement from his surgeon, Dr. Hans Kreeder, and the support of a clinical study from Sunnybrook Women's College Hospital in Toronto, Lance developed and tested several adjustable prototypes. And 3 years later, the marketable iWalk Free was born for fractures below the knee.
It's fabulous.
Julie Clark broke her foot, falling off a ladder in her kitchen.
It was like very liberating to get around the house and at work and stuff. I had the old-fashioned crutches before, and not only do they kill your underarms, but they inhibit you from carrying things around.
And that's the beauty of the iWalk Free hands-free locomotion. The unit is completely adjustable and can fit kids 40 pounds and over, right up to adults who are really, really over. Cody Ledbetter, a former quarterback with the CFL's Hamilton Tiger Cats, used the iWalk Free in 2000 after foot surgery.
He's on a peg leg-like device. There it is there. He's just had his second surgery on the ankle. Allows him to keep his muscles flexed and do away with the crutches.
This story begins near the fishing village of Port Dover, Ontario, just down the road from Simcoe, where among the birch trees sits an unassuming converted warehouse. In it lays the plans of a multi-million-dollar business.
Good afternoon. Amaya.
A $42 million condo resort project being built here near the small fishing village of Celestún, Mexico, a 1-hour drive west of Mérida. This classic Mexican seaside town bustles with activity before the afternoon siesta, where you can watch women produce tortillas in this small street-side factory. Still under construction, the Playa Maya Resort is a vision and a dream that started 20 years ago after Max Morrison visited this beach, 4 kilometers north of Celestún, on a trip with his Mexican friend, Julio Carrillo.
Between Julio and I, we sort of developed the dream and kept thinking about it, and 2 crazy old men trying to put together a project on the beach.
This is not a timeshare venture. It's a low-density, low-rise, seafront condo-tel, freehold property owned by each purchaser. And what makes this project special is its unique location. The complex is being built within a protected reserve, land overseen by Mexico's environmental agency, Semarnat.
This beach is, as you can see, it is clean. It's not overpopulated. It's a beautiful beach. We don't want to put high-rise buildings here. We want to make sure that this is a low-density development, that this is, in fact, an alternative to Cancun. And one of the big advantages of building in the reserve is that's going to be strictly controlled by the Mexican government.
Phase 1 of 3 will be completed and open for occupation in December 2004. Each phase of 25 acres will house 87 units. The entire resort is set on about 500 acres and will be fully complete by 2010.
One of the reasons for the 6 years is we don't want to be too big an impact on the environment quickly. It has to be done slowly. That's one of the actually conditions of Semarnat, that we only do this on a slow basis, that we clear the jungle slowly, that we do not impact the environment quickly.
Somewhere near the rolling hills and hayfields of the tiny town of Drayton, Ontario, population 1,500, there's a thriving venture in another field, the field of entertainment. Each year, when the days are the longest, the curtains rise on another season of summer theater at Drayton Entertainment, a $4.5 million business.
And I must tell you, the success of Drayton Entertainment today is due in a large part to that community that really came on board with the dream and made it happen.
The vision that brought summer theater to Drayton date back 13 years when Alex Mostakis convinced the community to convert its turn-of-the-century opera house into a modern-day entertainment palace.
I remember walking into this theater and my heart just skipped a beat because it was just such a magnificent opera house, really in the middle of two crossroads in the country. And I started thinking, well, is it possible? Could we create another professional summer festival here?
And as soon as Mr. Mostakis walked in the doors, he looked at the layout of the building and said, I want this to be mine.
Built in 1902, the theater needed major improvements before the first performance hit the stage on Canada Day in 1991.
We thought it was a diamond in the rough.
Until the fire chief walked in one day and said, you know what, this is great, but this place is not safe for public occupancy. So the town came together, the committee of council came together, and this residents, like as I said, 1,000, raised, with some help from the then ministry, over $200,000 to renovate this building.
By its second season, Drayton Entertainment had blossomed and become part of a $53 million not-for-profit summer theater industry in southwestern Ontario.
The success we've had has been overwhelming because we've been able to branch out into King's Wharf in Penetang, here in Country Playhouse, and as well as we have a schoolhouse theater in St. Jacobs. And we are the third largest company in Ontario right now, following Stratford and Niagara-on-the-Lake. And if you'd asked me 12 years ago or 13 years ago if we were going to be this successful, it's a dream that I would never have been convinced of. But
Everyday chores are a little brighter these days for Helmut Wurtschi. A few months ago, performing these simple tasks came with pain and discomfort.
Some movements I really felt painful. I couldn't lift some things. I couldn't move my arm in certain directions.
Conventional pain treatment wasn't working for Helmut, so he wanted to try something else, a healing therapy called Schrottkur. And so Helmut checked himself and his wife Blanca into Resort Tapatu, a German-style hotel in Ontario's cottage country, the first facility in North America to offer Schrottkur.
It's a big detoxification cure for the body. Cleans everything out, or as good as possible.
Schrottkur is a practice of natural medicine that helps treat conditions like high blood pressure, obesity, arthritis, and fibromyalgia, chronic pain in the muscles and soft tissues surrounding body joints, which affects thousands of Canadians. Gunther Siebert's inspiration to offer Schrottkur to others was personal. In 1999, Gunther's wife Krista began experiencing unexplained pain throughout her body. The couple spent over $15,000 visiting specialists, and the only comfort Krista found came from painkillers.
I was barely able to walk anymore. The main cause was running a business, you are constantly under stress. And after the stress was building up and the body was not able to take the stress anymore.
Then I remember that a friend in Germany, when we had been still living there, he went to a so-called Schrottkur.
The body wrap, or hydrotherapy, is performed in the wee hours of the morning, normally in one's birthday suit. The recipient is then packed in wet linen, which causes the body to warm up. Next, several layers of dry blankets and duvets are wrapped around the body. Hot water bottles are also applied to speed up the body warming process. The treatment creates a false fever, forcing the body to sweat and to expel toxins through the skin.
After 3 weeks, when I left the place, I was cured 95%. I was a total new person again, so actually the Schrottkur helped me to survive.
Everything is absolutely natural. There is no needle in your body. There is no drugs we put into you. So this is just, we help the body to help itself.